Welcome to my class. Categories of e-commerce. What are the different types of e-commerce? Meaning, e-commerce is about doing business electronically. Categories of e-commerce. Basically, there are four major types of e-commerce. They can also be termed as e-business models. They are business to business, that is B2B. Under B2B, we have supplier-centric B2B, buyer-centric B2B, intermediary-centric B2B. The next category is business to consumer B2C, and the third one is consumer to consumer C2C. The fourth one, consumer to business C2B. Let us talk about these business models one by one. Business to business. B2B e-commerce is industrial marketing. In B2B e-commerce, companies can conveniently and quickly check their suppliers or distributors' inventories through web and make instant purchases or dispatches respectively. This has led to decline of overhead expenses as web-driven systems eliminates many of the traditional workers who were doing the faxing job, attending telephone calls, billing goods, filing the documents, handle purchase orders, etc. So in a way, it has led to elimination of number of costs. Now, what are the characteristics of B2B e-commerce? It requires two or more business entities interacting with each other. The B2B electronic commerce can be supplier-centric or buyer-centric or intermediary-centric B2B e-commerce. Let us first try to know what is supplier-centric B2B e-commerce. In a supplier-centric B2B e-commerce, a supplier sets up the electronic commerce marketplace for various buyer businesses to interact with the supplier at its electronic marketplace. Typically, a dominant supplier in the domain of product sets up such a marketplace. Look at this example. The supplier is very powerful. He sets up a website, and on the website, number of buyers come to transact business. Then this is supplier-centric B2B e-commerce. The supplier may provide customized solutions and pricing to fit the needs of buyers' businesses. Usually, differential price structure is dependent upon the volume purchased and the loyalty discount. The next is buyer-centric B2B e-commerce. In a buyer-centric B2B e-commerce, the major business with high volume purchase capacity creates an electronic marketplace for purchase and acquisition. The electronic marketplace, that is website, is used for placing requests for quotation, RFQs, and carry out the entire purchase process online by the buyer. Look at this example. Here the buyer is very powerful buyer. He sets up a website. On the website, number of suppliers get connected to it to do business. The best example can be seen in the form of Indian Railways. Indian Railway is very powerful buyer of number of components from number of suppliers. So if Indian Railways set up a website where number of suppliers can come and start doing business electronically, then this is a case of buyer-centric B2B E-commerce. This kind of facility may be utilized by high volume and well-recognized buyers, as they may have adequate capacity and business volume to lure suppliers to bid at their site. Example: General Electrical's trading process network. General Electrical is a very big buyer of number of components, and number of suppliers can bid at the site of General Electricals. The third one is Intermediary-Centric B2B E-commerce. In Intermediary-Centric B2B E-commerce, a third party may set up the electronic marketplace and attract both the buyer and seller businesses to interact. The buyers and sellers both benefit from the increased options in terms of pricing, quality, availability, and delivery of goods. In this case, neither buyer nor the seller set up the website. It is some intermediary who sets up this particular website. On the one side we have number of suppliers. On the other side we have number of buyers. IndiaMart is a case of intermediary-centric B2B e-commerce. Here the website is developed by one particular intermediary, which becomes such a big one that number of buyers and suppliers get connected to this website to buy and sell products. The third-party electronic marketplace acts as a hub for both the suppliers and buyers, where buyers place their requests for the quotations and sellers respond by bidding electronically, leading to a match and ultimately to a final transaction. IndiaMart.com is an example of intermediary B2B e-commerce. The next category after B2B is business to consumer, B2C. In B2C e-commerce, the consumer gets connected to seller's website, that is the merchant's web storefront. The consumer gets connected to seller's website to place orders for the purchase of the products. He can browse, he can search and order goods or services online anytime. For example, Amazon.com is the example of B2C e-commerce. Now the benefits of B2C e-commerce. In B2C e-commerce, the businesses offer a set of goods at given prices, discounts, and shipping and delivery options, and the seller and consumer both benefit. Seller and consumer both benefit through the round-the-clock shopping, the second benefit is in the form of accessibility from any part of the world. The third benefit of B2C e-commerce is increased opportunity for direct marketing. Fourth benefit is customization. It is possible for seller to customize the products according to the requirement of the buyer. The next benefit of B2C e-commerce is online customer service. The suitability of B2C model. The B2C model of electronic commerce transaction is ideally suited for the following: items with standardized specification, for example, printer ribbons, ink cartridges, etc. But nowadays we find that a number of items can be brought under the model of B2C. Second, goods that can easily transformed into digital format such as books, music clips, videos, software packages which can be directly downloaded on computer. The third one is high rated brand items are items with return security. This model is suitable for items that may be sold in packets and that cannot be opened. All packaged products can be sold through B2C model. So items that may be sold in packets that cannot be opened even in physical stores, they can be easily sold through B2C model. Now relatively cheap items where the savings outweigh cost. All these items are suitable for B2C model of electronic commerce. The third category is consumer to consumer, C2C. In C2C e-commerce, goods are offered for sale by the consumer and goods are purchased by the other consumers. The best example in the present context can be seen in as OLX.in. It allows a consumer to buy or sell on free auction site and sale forums. Again OLX, सब कुछ बिकता है. Characteristics of C2C e-commerce. First, it promotes opportunity for consumers to transact goods or services to other consumers present on internet. Second, the C2C in many situations reflects the exchange system with a modified form. Third, for the deal making purpose, large virtual consumer trading community is developed. Fourth, it copies the traditional system of classified ads and auctions. The fourth category is consumer to business. In C2B E-commerce, a consumer posts his requirement with a set budget to the website of the company, and the company reviews the consumer's requirement and bid on the requirements quickly. Yatra.com is the best example in the case of consumer to business category. The consumer reviews the bids submitted by the companies and select the company that will fulfill his requirements. For example, Yatra.com for selling a holiday package is an example in this category. The characteristics of consumer to business e-commerce. The customer states his requirement with specified price he is willing to pay. Second, the business entity is expected to match the requirements of the consumer to the best possible extent. Third one, the consumer to business. It enables a consumer to determine the price of the product and or services offered by a company. Fourth, it reduces the bargaining time and increases the flexibility at sales place for both the merchant and the consumer. For example, Priceline.com. Thank you very much.